Sir. This is the best thing I've seen. I really need a lightsaber. Like, it just needs a lightsaber. He's tall. Maybe in the book, everything will turn out fine. This son of a bitch. Turn around. Hello there. What the hell are you wearing, Emma? I don't think I've ever been this excited to make a reading vlog before, because this week, all week long, we are going to be reading Star Wars books. Not only reading Star Wars books, but watching Star Wars stuff, doing Star Wars things, and just like living, breathing, experiencing the world of Star Wars. I've been a big Star Wars fan ever since I was a little kid, and I recently, last year, got back into my love for it because tragically, as a child, I was just kind of teased and bullied out of liking Star Wars. So I am reclaiming my love for it now as an adult. I know this is not my usual fare, but please stick around. You will stick around. You don't want to sell death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. Okay. I thought every day as well I would try to raid my closet and come up with the most Star Wars looking fit I could with what I have on hand. So today I've tried to go for a weird Jedi look, which I'll show you the full thing in a second, but I'm just so excited for this week. It's also my birthday week. What better gift to myself than just like immersing myself maybe a little bit too much in what I love. So I'll let you know what we're reading, what we're gonna be watching, what we're gonna be doing. I also have the birthday present of all birthday presents that I would really like to gift to myself. I don't really remember how I got into Star Wars as a kid. I obviously watched the original trilogy first and then very quickly borrowed the VCRs of the prequels. I became so enamored with them that even though like I couldn't go out and buy Star Wars books for myself, I still wanted to own them. So I would check out like the Star Wars encyclopedia from my library, and then I would spend hours copying the pages exactly so I could have them. However, this all ended when at school we had to give like a movie report, similar to a book report, but just of a movie you had watched and seen and loved recently. You had to do this like little project of it, and so I of course chose Return of the Jedi, and I very quickly found out that that was like not cool. That was not a cool thing to do, and it was obviously too late to change my movie because I had completed my project. And so I spent about a week dreading going into the 5th grade because people were making fun of me. It wasn't a cool thing to like. Girls didn't like Star Wars. That was like a nerdy guy thing, and I was just extremely mortified, very sensitive, and from that moment on, dropped it. I just have let myself so much back into my joys, my hobbies, my loves, without remorse, without caring what other people think, and so we're here. Anyway, I want to show you my outfit first. Okay, so this is the whack fit of the day. I actually kind of really like it. I have had these boots that I got thrifted from ThredUp kicking around for a very long time, and now I finally have an occasion to wear them because I feel like, aside from the green, I feel like maybe it's giving a little bit more Shigo than Star Wars. I just kept layering and layering random bullshit, and then it kind of looks like Jedi inspired a little bit. I feel like the more things you just randomly tie to you, I feel like that's very Star Wars. The goal for this week is to eventually make it all the way to reading Revenge of the Sith. This is the novelization by Matthew Stover, and this is the deluxe edition. I forget what it's actually called. I think it's just called the deluxe edition. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. However, I don't want to just cold read this. There are a few books that I would like to read first to get to here, and then I have also been saving watching Revenge of the Sith because I want to read this book first. I have pre-watched for like the millionth time, episodes 1 and 2. The book that I have started the week off with, I started this yesterday. I'm really enjoying it, which thank goodness, because one of the last Star Wars books, which was Brotherhood by Mike Chen that I read, I thought this was terrible. So I'm really glad that I'm loving this. I bought this last year when I got back into my Star Wars phase, and it is Darth Plagueis by James Luceno. This is one of the Legends collection. So I don't really care about canon or not canon. Like, I frankly don't care. I will consume pretty much, well, not anything Star Wars. Legends collection, I believe, is not canon, but it's basically expanding on characters we've known or not known too much, which in this case, Darth Plagueis, who, if you don't know, I don't know how I should like explain things in this video, because I feel like primarily, maybe if you're here, you know Star Wars, but I'm just gonna gab. I'm just gonna yap in general. So Darth Plagueis was Palpatine's master. This book lets you know all about Darth Plagueis, all about how Darth Sidious obviously came to be a Sith master and his training, and I'm loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. I have been both reading to it and listening to the audiobook, because so many Star Wars audiobooks are either full cast or just have a really good narrator performer, and they almost always come with the Star Wars music and sound effects, and it's just like such an immersive experience. So I've been doing half and half, reading and listening, and it's been really, really, really enjoyable. So this one is all about Darth Plagueis, who is this guy right here. He is a Mun, or is it Mun? I guess Mun. We'll say Mun. Their planet and their species basically run the banking clan in this world. I love the Star Wars politics. I love it so much. Like, if you go and watch The Phantom Menace right now, and then you look at the news right now, Darth Plagueis, his real name is Hugo Damask. It's a pretty Star Wars sounding name, but he is obviously a Sith Lord in disguise, and he is being trained by Darth Tenebris, who we also don't see in the films, obviously. And the book begins with Plagueis murdering his master Tenebris and basically taking control as the sole Sith leader, or the sole Sith in the galaxy as he knows it. He wants to put into plans the Master Sith revenge plot, which is basically taking over the galaxy, overthrowing the Jedi. How is he doing this? So I think this one is really interesting because Darth Plagueis's character is pretty much kind of a mad scientist kind of guy. The only mention we get of Darth Plagueis the Wise is in Revenge of the Sith, when Palpatine is talking to Anakin. He's like, "Have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" He's trying to seduce Anakin into maybe putting a little line out there with a bait on it that the dark side powers can prolong life or cause immortality or stop death, because Anakin is obviously so worried for Padmé. And anyway, so Darth Plagueis is the character who wants to achieve immortality, and so he's running all these experiments on his home world, and it's just so fun. He has like a lab, he has a bunch of people in either like cryo, he's just trying to figure out the secrets of the Force, the midichlorians, and how to extend someone's life or stop them from dying. And he also wants to be immortal. So he's kind of like this guy. He's kind of like Brian Johnson of the Star Wars universe right now, mixed with a little bit of Victor Frankenstein, and he's also just evil. Or is he evil? You know, the Jedi say that only the Sith deal in absolutes, but is that not in absolutism itself? He's complaining that he doesn't want to achieve what other Sith have done in the past, which is essence transfer, or the relocation of an individual's consciousness into another body, or in some cases a talisman, temple, or sarcophagus, or some vat-grown clone. I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, so much of this should have been inserted into the sequels. Obviously our guy Palpatine, who is in the prequels, he's in the main trilogy, and then he comes back in the sequels. We don't get any explanation. Yeah, somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow Palpatine returned. But when they're talking in Darth Plagueis about like essence transfer or cloning, that should have been explained, and like that could have been such a cool thing if we had just explored a little bit how Palpatine came back. Other things that I have freaked out about that's so fun is that Plagueis as Damask, who is part of the banking clan, he runs this like super shady organization slash retreat slash sojourn on one of the moons. He runs like this super sketchy retreat where he gets a bunch of rich people to come and they do really weird stuff. One of the people who come, who he has like shady dealings with, is Garjula the Hutt. I've seen her only in the Clone Wars, I think so far, the TV show, and she comes and she's talking about how she wants to take over Tatooine. So at this point, I forget how many years this is before like the Clone Wars erupt, but the Hutts haven't taken over Tatooine, which is so interesting to me. And so you see like the Hutts getting in with Plagueis to enact their rule on Tatooine, and Gardula is like, you know, what are you gonna get out of it? You are gonna get out of helping me secure my rule on Tatooine the cash from this pod race course I'm gonna build. Oh my god, we're talking about building the pod race course, and they're gonna resurrect this tradition of racing this like crazy pod race course every year, which is of course Boonta Eve. Obviously, when you're an author, I think writing a book like this, you are trying so hard to connect so many pieces together because it's just so iconic and it's so fun. I don't really mind, even if it is a little gimmicky and a little bit maybe too much and a little bit too coincidental, but I just think it's so fun to see behind the scenes stuff like this of how things get started. But yeah, it's really interesting because Gardula the Hutt was the owner of Anakin and Anakin's mother before she lost them in a bet to Watto, where eventually obviously Qui-Gon finds them. So very interesting to see that like the dark side in this book had like a hand in starting the pod race course. But Plagueis has exterminated his master because the Sith are always infighting and basically plotting to overthrow one another. If you are a Sith master and you get an apprentice, you are basically planning and expecting the day when that apprentice is going to try to off you to take power. Now that this has happened, Plagueis is like, okay, I'm the one, I'm gonna enact the Sith plan to take over the galaxy. Little does he know that Darth Tenebris, his master, has actually trained other apprentices. It's just so fun. I'm really enjoying it so far. The audiobook is 10 out of 10. I have my little Star Wars bookmark, and I'm gonna go read a little bit now. So tonight I think I'm gonna watch some more of the Clone Wars. I'm just about to finish up season 4. Welcome to the Star Wars reading vlog.
Palpatine is on the page. We have Palpatine on the page. We met him. Plagueis gets introduced to Palpatine because he is planning to extract the plasma from the planet Naboo, where there's like this untapped plasma resource. Palpatine, who is 17 at the time, lives on Naboo, like he's the son of one of the royal houses, and his interest is lining up with Plagueis's because Palpatine's family, like his father, who's an influential person in Naboo, Palpatine doesn't agree with his father, doesn't agree with his family. He actually hunts down Palpatine because Palpatine was one of the people who gave the banking clan like inside information on the royal happenings because he wants something different. So Plagueis like actually hunts him down, and like you can't tell at first if Palpatine has the Force or not, but they strike up a relationship, and Plagueis is like kind of acting as a mentor, but in fact he's hired Palpatine as a spy to report to him on the dealings of like the court and because Naboo is a monarchy, so to report on what is going on. We've kind of reached a crazy point because Palpatine's father wants to keep him further and further away from Plagueis, and like he's already threatening Plagueis, but we just had a scene where I think Palpatine just killed his whole family.
Okay, so this was the inspo for today's look. I love Leia's style and like her fashion and her outfits, and I've always really loved the fit that she wears at the Echo Base in episode 5. I just love it so much. I'll insert like a picture here, but I love it. I love the snow look, and I also love the look of the snow troopers. I think they just had some of the coolest looks, so I've tried to recreate what she was wearing based on what I had in my closet. This is a book that I've had on my nightstand for a while. I got this thrifted. This is Creating the Worlds of Star Wars 365 Days. So it basically takes you through how they made the Star Wars films, the prequels and the original, not the sequels. And it's so fascinating. It's so fun. I've been loving flipping through this. Like, oh,
Look at this. Look at this. Come on. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, I'm not there yet. I think I just got to the prequels. This is today's look. I'm obviously inspired by the one and the only Princess Leia. I also have this lip from Merit that I feel like is the perfect Princess Leia shade that she wears in the film, so I'm gonna put this on. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Welcome to day 2. Love the scenes on Hoth, and I've always wanted all of Princess Leia's outfits, but I really love her like snowsuit that she wears on Hoth. I've tried to put together something of the same, and I can't do her hair because I think my hair is now too short to really do like a braid across, but I did put a little flower in because it felt very royal. Actually, the only Star Wars book that I've read this year before starting this video was Leia by E.K. Johnson, perhaps. This is more of a YA book because it follows Leia's teenage years, and you see her like being brought up on Alderaan and doing a whole bunch of things before the events of A New Hope. And yeah, I really like this. I highly recommend the audiobook once again. It's fun, it was great, and there's so many like really weighty emotional moments because in the book she goes to Naboo and stuff. And yeah, last night I finished season 4 of the Clone Wars. Are they gonna address the fact that Darth Maul was a spider? Are we just gonna like brush past that? Are we gonna address it? I never got to watch the Clone Wars as a kid, so I'm doing it now and I'm loving it. Darth Maul is definitely one of my favorite characters, so I'm very happy that he's back. We do need to talk. I just feel like I need to talk to someone about obviously the new show that came out. Was it a couple months ago now? MAUL, Shadow Lord. Oh my god. This is the best thing I've seen from Star Wars in so long. This was so good. I can't tell you how good it is. I think I'm gonna rewatch it this week. Like I think I'm just gonna, like, it's pretty short. Only the first season has come out. I think I'm just gonna put on an episode every single day. This was so good. This is like a 5 out of 5 for me. This follows Darth Maul and the events of the Republic, pretty much picking up, I don't know how many, like very, very soon after Revenge of the Sith. And it's so interesting because I feel like we don't have a lot of media showing the world after obviously the fall of the Jedi Order, like the events between A New Hope and, you know, what happened in Revenge of the Sith. And to see Maul in there, he's so changed. Like the character growth that happens between the Maul I just saw in season 4 of the Clone Wars to the TV show MAUL is crazy. It's crazy, but it was so good. The art is beautiful. The show is so gorgeous, and I can't. So I haven't started season 5 of the Clone Wars yet, but I'm probably gonna do that tonight. Where I left off on season 4, the final episode was like Obi-Wan and Ventress, I ship it, taking off and trying to get away from Darth Maul. Those are like in my top 5 favorite characters, so to see all 3 of them in one episode, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, and Ventress, incredible. Because I watched Maul Shadow Lord first before getting to the episodes of the Clone Wars where Darth Maul returns. The whole time watching Maul, I was like, I want to know what Obi-Wan thinks. Does he know that Maul's back? I want to know what Palpatine thinks. Does he know that Maul's back? And so now in the Clone Wars, like I'm getting those answers, and it's very, very, I just can't believe it. Let me update you though on the actual books that I'm reading. I'm 202 pages in, and we just had a leap where we probably skipped a decade, where Palpatine has been under Darth Plagueis' apprenticeship for 10 years, and now we see Palpatine, I think he's 28 now. He's very much in politics, and Plagueis wants to use Palpatine as his like human in politics who is going to disrupt and enter into the Republic, into the Senate, hopefully, obviously, farther than that, and do the bidding of the dark side in politics. So Plagueis is kind of using him as his puppet. Like this is a pretty good cover. There's so much more politics now, which I really love because I just think it's very interesting, space politics like this. And we get a lot of lessons. Like we actually get to see a lot of the training between Sidious and Plagueis, because you just don't see that, you know, in the films or anywhere. You obviously see so much of the Jedi being trained and what their way of life and learning is like, but you don't really get the Sith side of it. So getting it in this book is really, really fun. And
and cool, and I'm really loving it. So yeah, there's also so much about Naboo and so much setup for a Phantom Menace, which I feel like is where this book might end. Actually, I think that's where we're heading, because there's been so much about Naboo, and obviously a Phantom Menace opens with the blockade on the planet by the Trade Federation, and so we're getting a lot of the Trade Federation in here. Other notable characters that have appeared that I've been like, oh my gosh. Tarkin has appeared. For that matter, Tarkin was in the Princess Leia novel that I read, and it was just so interesting to see Leia and Tarkin meeting in that book, and now Palpatine and Tarkin meeting in here. I'm very sad though, because I was listening to this on Spotify and I didn't even know what the heck, my listening hours just cut out. So I guess the membership that I have on Spotify doesn't let me listen to audiobooks indefinitely, which is so sad. The audiobook just had like sounds and music, and the air quality is in the red again today, so I have a pounding headache. So I was hoping to listen to more of this today, honestly, but we're gonna have to suck it up and do some reading, and I'm very excited. I kind of want to finish this. I want to finish this decently soon because I'm really excited for the next book.
Oh my god. Are we meeting Darth Maul? Are we meeting Darth Maul? Are we finding how Darth Maul comes to be Palpatine? But this is so wild because he's like still totally with Plagueis. I'm only 208 pages in, but he's on Dathomir. And he sees this, one of the Night Sisters. I love the Night Sisters. And she is trying to pawn her child off on Palpatine. The episode of the Clone Wars I just watched had Talzin, and obviously the other half of the clan pair this one is. So I guess this is Darth Maul. This is crazy. Maul's mother is trying to give him to Palpatine because the pair of brothers, Maul and Savage, I guess Savage is already part of the Night Brothers, and she doesn't want the same life for Maul. Oh my god. Palpatine just adopted a baby?
Sir, don't. I just woke up. Don't. I did some research yesterday on the birthday gift that I would like to get myself. And I think I've decided on the one. I've been sitting on this. Well, really, I've been sitting on this since childhood because I've always wanted one. But really seriously, since like last year, I was like, I want a lightsaber. Like, I want a lightsaber so badly. My brother used to have the really cheap plastic ones that would like collapse. They didn't make, I don't think they had sound effects, but I would play with those as a kid. I never got my own, which, you know what? That's okay, I'm here to give myself one now. This one is from the company Sabers Pro. I'm just so excited to spin this freaking thing around. Also, this is the shirt that we're wearing today. I wore this to bed, but I got this off of Etsy a couple months ago, and it has Ventress on it. I feel like today maybe I will try to recreate a Ventress look. I'm doing it. Okay. I have my little Sith outfit on. Kind of. It's just black clothing. What else was I supposed to wear? I'm 250 pages in, and everyone and their mother, brother, and sister is in this book. Before bed last night, I read the section where Darth Plagueis goes to Camino, and we found out he's maybe trying to create like an army, a clone army. Then they just wheeled out Count Dooku, who's not, Count Dooku, he's Master Dooku, because he's still a Jedi Master, Sifo-Dyas, and Qui-Gon Jinn. They are on the page right now, talking to Plagueis. Now they're talking to Palpatine. And obviously both Plagueis and Palpatine, more so Plagueis, is pretty interested in Count Dooku, because he is very dissatisfied with the Senate, the Republic. Sifo-Dyas as well. Sifo-Dyas is the name of the person. They don't specify in the prequels who ordered the clone army for the Clone Wars. Anyway, I'm still really liking it. I can't believe we have Qui-Gon, another favorite, Dooku, another favorite. I'm gonna read a little bit, but let me show you my outfit first. Raw. I was wearing these boots again. So good. They really remind me of Shigo. But yeah, this is the Sith fit. I really need a lightsaber. Like, it just needs a lightsaber. Today's outfit, I tried to make it up with whatever I had in my closet of one of Padmé's outfits in The Phantom Menace when she's on Tatooine with Qui-Gon, when she meets Anakin for the first time actually in the junk shop. I feel like this is my worst one yet. I don't really have a lot of stuff for Padmé's wardrobe, obviously, the dream wardrobe, but regardless, I'm here to tell you that I finished our first book. I finished Darth Plagueis. I really love this. I do have a few thoughts. This is probably the best Star Wars book I've read maybe so far. I haven't really read too many at all. This honestly became a lot less about Plagueis and shifted so much more to be about Palpatine, which like I could kind of see was coming, but it was just a lot more about Palpatine than I was expecting, especially because you have this tantalizing story, the Sith Lord who literally discovers how to bring people back to life. And talking about that for a second, we discover after having multiple scenes of Plagueis in like his little laboratory with Venomous, for example, along with other experiments, he literally does discover how to bring someone back from death. He kills Venomous, brings him back, kills Venomous again, brings him back to life again, and he can seemingly do this indefinitely. And it's written about so underwhelmingly, like so underwhelmingly. It's basically just like he had discovered the secret of life and death. And we leave it at that. And I get that maybe we're not going to go too much into it because once Plagueis has this ability, he doesn't use it. He doesn't use it. I guess there's not really anyone that a Sith Lord would want to bring back from death except themselves. I'm sure there's a lot more people instead that a Sith Lord would like to see brought from life to death. But like, this is an incredible ability, and I just feel like we see him achieve it and then he doesn't use it at all. I thought it was gonna be like a fascinating study, like watching Plagueis use this ability to bring people back to life. We don't really see either how it interacts with the relationship between Palpatine and Plagueis. We don't really see how this power that Plagueis has like interplays into the relationship, which I feel like would be such a huge thing. In fact, Plagueis is only concerned, once he has this ability over others, he's only concerned about giving himself immortality, and Palpatine as well. And kind of just inexplicably, I guess, just by like studying the Force more, Plagueis does in fact give himself the ability to make him de-age, essentially. He can heal really well. He's looking younger and sprightlier than ever, and he seems to be Rian Johnsoning himself. But not a lot of detail or a lot of time is given to what I thought was going to be the main thing of like the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I wanted Darth Plagueis to be a lot more about Darth Plagueis. I think Palpatine is interesting, but we've just seen so much of Palpatine, and I thought that a Legends book called Darth Plagueis would just have Darth Plagueis in it a little bit more. I loved so much like Sith history that we got. I also loved how much politics there was in this book. There's so much politics and like so many mega corporations we get to meet, from the Techno Union, Trade Federation, and how they play into the Republic, the Senate, the International Banking Clan. Very exciting stuff for me with like Plagueis's alter ego. That was really cool. I loved seeing how Palpatine and like Plagueis together set up everything that goes into the events before the blockade on Naboo by the Trade Federation and the Phantom Menace. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. There was so much that went into that. Darth Maul is in here a lot more than I thought he was going to be, which is awesome. Dooku is in here a lot more than I thought he was going to be. We obviously get a lot of the Jedi near the end, and the book does end with... The book ends where the Phantom Menace film ends. All in all, I really did love this, and Very interesting now to know the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise. That is the first Star Wars book done for this video. I really loved it. I started watching actually Return of the Jedi probably a couple months ago and I never finished it. So I'm kind of realizing that I've only seen Return of the Jedi once, and this is maybe my first full-time watching it as an adult. I don't know why. I've watched A New Hope and I've watched The Empire Strikes Back a million times, but for some reason I don't think I've ever made it to Return of the Jedi, and I'm kind of seeing why. In terms of the Star Wars films that are out there, I would say my favorite, I really love the prequels. I really do. I think they're so funny. Parts of them are not very good at all, but I just love them. But I think honestly my favorite is A New Hope. Like, I think it's where it all started. I really think my favorite movie is A New Hope. I just think it's fantastic. It's so great. I love it. But coming in a close second would be Revenge of the Sith, probably. These two are probably tied, Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Yeah, Return of the Jedi, I don't remember it being so boring. It's so boring. I love the starting scenes at Jabba's and like on Tatooine and the bounty hunter stuff. I love that stuff. Like, that is part of my favorite aspects of Star Wars, is the bounty hunters and the crime lords and all that stuff. I love watching that. So I'm enamored with anything that goes on at Jabba's place. But everything after that, once we get to the Ewoks, I'm out. Like, I've checked out. I do not like the Ewoks. I don't like the scenes with the Ewoks. I don't like the scenes in the forest. We spend so long with the Ewoks. Why are we still with the Ewoks? I just don't think it's very good. I still love it. I just don't think it's very good. It doesn't feel like A New Hope or The Empire Strikes Back to me, which are like fantastic. Return of the Jedi just feels really, 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 really weak. So anyway, I've put a pause on it again because I was just like, I think I'm gonna try to finish for the first time, like watching it as an adult, Return of the Jedi in this vlog. I ended off on the part where Luke has gone up to talk to Palpatine for the first time. Can you believe this guy's still alive? And then can you believe they wheel him out again in the sequel? So instead what I did on my birthday was decide to watch or start Revenge of the Sith. I didn't finish it though because there are, like I said, 2 books that I want to read before watching the film. So I've started one of the books that I want to read before. I started it yesterday and I'm having such a good time. I'm having such a good time. I don't think I've ever cried watching Star Wars, but I think it is like a testament to the Clone Wars TV series for just fleshing out so much and how much more invested I've become in Star Wars and how much I find it comforting, because the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan, every time I watch Revenge of the Sith, I'm just like, Obi-Wan, please don't go. Please don't go. Obi-Wan, please do not go ride that lizard. The book that I've started that I want to finish before I continue my rewatch of Revenge of the Sith is Labyrinth of Evil. This one is also by the same author, James Luceno, so I know we'll be getting into okay water with like pacing, plotting, writing and stuff, but this one basically this one picks up after Attack of the Clones, and we finally get to learn about the business that doesn't count on Cato Neimoidia.
That business on Cato Neimoidia doesn't count.
I'm 84 pages through and I can just, it's playing out like an episode of the Clone Wars for me. It really is. I'm just loving it. It's so fun. We have Cody, we have Obi-Wan, we have Anakin. They're on Cato Neimoidia when the book begins, trying to arrest Gunray and his cronies, and it's going great so far. I'm loving it. I'm having fun. This vlog, I think, is just gonna be me having a certified good time. Anakin's grin blossomed into a full-fledged smile. Last time I checked, we were on the same side, Master. Last time I checked. Check again. Check again. Keep checking. I think the Sith must not have cats, because I am just like, anytime I wear
black clothing. I'm just covered in cat hair. It's actually kind of crazy. I don't know if you can see. I am heading to the gym in a few hours, so this is going to be my Star Wars look for today. It's just another shirt that I got off of Etsy. I already talked about my love for MAUL Shadow Lord, so this is the shirt that I picked up. I think I might be doing legs today, although I did them already a few days ago. My legs are still like a little bit sore, which, I mean, I guess is something Darth Maul doesn't have to worry about. I am primarily here to say that I'm having a hoot and a holler with Labyrinth of Evil. I feel like I'm enjoying this one even more than Darth Plagueis. It's so fun. Like, I think mainly I'm just loving the huge host of characters that we get to follow, whereas Darth Plagueis was obviously very focused on Plagueis Palpatine. Labyrinth of Evil is following everyone. We got Mace, we got Yoda, we got Anakin and Obi-Wan off on a mission together, which is so fun. They're kind of doing their own like little Clone Wars segment, kind of very similar to the mission and the adventure Obi-Wan goes on in Attack of the Clones, where he's trying to actually find Kamino and figure out this plot with the clones that are being created. We have a very similar thing happening in Labyrinth of Evil with Obi-Wan and Anakin and their quest to hunt down the specifics and the details of the Mechno chair. It is called a Mechno chair. This popped up on my Google search when I was trying to remember what the Mechno chair from The Phantom Menace looked like, and I just thought this was so funny. This is basically the whole plot of the book, but it's so fun. We still do have Palpatine there. We get a lot of scenes with Count Dooku, which is so fun, and we just get so much info that I just want more of, you know, when we're watching Attack of the Clones. I primarily only watch Attack of the Clones for Obi-Wan's adventure. I really cannot. And anytime Anakin and Padmé are on screen, I really do cringe my eyes out. We have Grievous. It is finally time to tell you my favorite Star Wars character is General Grievous. I just thought he was the coolest thing ever when I was a kid. I mean, watching this like 7 foot, I don't know how tall he is. He's tall. 7 foot cyborg guy wielding 4 lightsabers, coughing his chest out, feeling probably ill all the time. It just feels so sad for him because you finally get more of his backstory in Labyrinth of Evil. This is another one in the Legends, by the way, so the backstory according to James Luceno. Grievous is my #1 favorite Star Wars character of all time. I wish there was more media on him. I don't know if there's any Star Wars books exclusively about him. I am waiting for any kind of TV show, preferably in this exact style, exactly what they did with MAUL, that has restored my faith in Star Wars shows. But like a show like that about Grievous would be my absolute dream come true. So I'm very curious to know who your favorite Star Wars character is. Can you please comment them down below? My top 5, oh, this is so hard. General Grievous #1, Obi-Wan Kenobi #2. Very sad that he kills my #1 favorite character, but that's okay. #3, maybe Ventress. #4, maybe Darth Maul. And #5, Leia. I think it's gotta be Leia. I love Leia so much. If I had to choose a #6, I would give a really random Jawa a spot. I love the Jawas. They are my favorite Star Wars species. And I wish they spoke more or had more of a character role in any of the Star Wars media, because the Jawas are my favorite. The Jawas are my favorite. Oh my gosh. What does your heart tell you you're meant for? Infinite sadness, Obi-Wan said.
That was Good Morning in TIE Fighter. Thank you. Okay, I hope you can guess who today's outfit is inspired by. We have another Padmé outfit. At this point, I'm kind of running out of options, so now, later in the week, I'm going into my closet and being like, does anything in here look remotely like anything anyone has worn? This dress, which is from Simple Retro, kind of looks like, it's very similar a little bit to Padmé's wedding gown. In her outfit, she has this like gorgeous sparkly lace headpiece. It's so pretty, but this was the closest like approximation I could find. Anyway, this is today's Star Wars outfit. We're almost done. Labyrinth of Evil. I'm gonna be finishing this probably within the next 45 minutes. It is so good. I'm loving this so much. It is very, very fast paced, and not only that, but you just get like so it's like having a whole other movie between Phantom Menace, or between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I know this is not canon. Really see how close the Jedi are to actually unveiling Sidious, which this book just makes it a little bit more believable to me, because in the film it's like, guys, he is sitting right in front of you. How do you not know that there's a Sith Lord right in front of you? In Labyrinth of Evil, you see them going through the maze and almost so close unveiling Sidious, and in fact James Luceno makes the Jedi's like almost capture or almost knowing Sidious's identity as Palpatine the whole reason for launching the attack on Coruscant that opens Revenge of the Sith. Like, one of my complaints though with Labyrinth of Evil, which I was feeling a little bit in Plagueis because they're by the same author, is the handling of like women, the writing of women. It happened a couple times and I was like, I won't mention it, but it keeps happening and it is so pointless. But also the fact that he's writing it this way, I'm like, what is your point here? Like, what are you doing? So not only in descriptions of women, which of course there are very few of to begin with, but the way they are described, their looks will always be commented on, whereas it's just very clear the difference between the men in James Luceno's writing and the women. But the point that keeps really grating me is that every time there are female Jedi, or even like other female species for that matter, it's always like the Jedi women, or this man led the Jedi women through here. If it's like in a list form, it will be like this character, this species, the two women Jedi. When obviously when he's writing about, for example, Anakin or Obi-Wan or Mace and Kit Fisto, it's never the two Jedi men. Like, it's never the two Jedi males. It's never like the two males did this. It's always like the Jedi, because that is their identity first and foremost, and the women aren't afforded that same actualization. They are always Jedi women. For example, just kind of like downgrading massively important characters like the literal queen of Alderaan, Leia's adoptive mother, as just Bail Antilles' wife. She's not named, she's not titled, she's just Bail Antilles' wife. They're not any less Jedi because they're women, they're not any kind of different Jedi because they're women. Just say Jedi, dude. Anywho, can't believe Newt Gunray fucked up this hard. Like, literally, Sidious almost loses it here, which I think is so interesting, and I would have loved to see this in film form, in prequel form. I think that would have been fantastic. I've been getting some questions here and there when I bring up Star Wars in my vlogs. Where to start reading Star Wars? I don't know, dude. There is a great website called Utini. This is what I used when I was first getting into it, because it lists everything and it categorizes it so many different ways. So if you want to read chronologically, if you just want to go by different periods, maybe you're interested in the High Republic or the Rebellion, for example, they list all the books. But not only that, they rate them based on everyone's kind of general consensus of if the book is great or not. So they will give it, I don't know how many, maybe there's like 5 categories. There's like masterpiece, which is what the book I'm about to start is, and then there's like great, good, not very good, bad. I think I'm going to go sit outside, finish Labyrinth of Evil, and then the goal is to start Revenge of the Sith today. This story happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It is already over. Nothing can be done to change it. We're already crying. It is the story of the blurred line between our best and our worst. It is the story of the end of an age. A strange thing about stories, though this all happened so long ago and so far away that words cannot describe the time or the distance, it is also happening right now, right here. Maybe in the book, everything will turn out fine. We're 20 pages in and we've cried twice. Though he does not know it, his relationship with Anakin has molded him into the great Jedi Qui-Gon always said he might someday be. It is characteristic of Obi-Wan that he is entirely unaware of this. This son of a bitch. I have a bad feeling about this. I am a little over 100 pages through. I just want to say that this is the really, I mean, look at it.
this is a work of art. And if I haven't showed you all the ins and outs, I will do it tomorrow in better lighting because I'm getting fingerprints all over. I'm gonna have to like wipe it down when I'm done. I have recently learned, as of reading it, because there's a little intro, that this book actually came out before the movie, which is crazy to me. I didn't know that at all. I would assume that the author would have seen the movie before this was released, but that's not the case. This came out in like May of, was it 2005 or something? And then the movie came out a month later. So Matthew Stover never actually saw Revenge of the Sith before he wrote the novelization, although of course like he knew the plot, he had the scripts, blah blah blah. I am liking it. Like, I've already cried twice. However, I do have some issues, and unfortunately a lot of it is coming from the fact that this deluxe edition contains like annotations in the form of footnotes from the author himself. I don't know why footnotes, to be completely honest with you, are insufferable. I don't know what they were marketed as, but they add pretty much nothing new to the story, and 7 times out of 10 they are just the author like hyping himself up, and it's just really insufferable and like takes me out of the story. Or either him telling you how good his own work is, or they are him explaining like the use of second person or past and present tenses to you like you are a 5th grader. From here on out, I'm gonna try my best to make my eyes somehow skip over the footnotes, even though they're kind of hard to ignore, but they are just incredibly grating and frankly pointless. Never fun like reading someone just like gloat about themselves. Writing from the perspective of 2 Jedi. Come on. Like the amount of times he'll say, "That's dramatic irony." Dramatic irony at work. You're welcome. When we have a sweet moment between Anakin and Obi-Wan, which like genuinely does sometimes reduce me to tears, less because of the author's talent and just because of the love that I know that I have for the characters, he will be like, you know, when Obi-Wan thinks he's proud to be Anakin's best friend, the footnote will say, "If this line stings a little, that's your object lesson in dramatic irony for today." It like takes you out of the emotional moment, and it just makes you really fed up that the author's like right here breathing down your neck being like, "Gotcha. Did that make you sad? Did I do my job good? Am I good?" When there's like emotional moments between Obi-Wan, almost every one of them has a footnote that will say, "Burns a little, huh? I hope so." Other than that, this man needs to tone it down 17 notches. I'm having a good time. This one picks up right where Labyrinth of Evil leaves off. We have Anakin and Obi-Wan in space outside Coruscant, and it's the big battle over Coruscant to try and get back Palpatine from General Grievous. I am like a little bit worried about the pacing, to be honest, because I am 124 pages in and we're still like in Act 1. They're still on Grievous's ship. 124 pages in, and this book is only 400 pages long. So I'm just a little bit worried how he's going to fit the rest of the movie into the book when we've spent so long. Guys, somehow I think the book does not end differently. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Welcome to the last day, the falling twilight of the Republic, because I'm going to be finishing Revenge of the Sith tonight if it kills me, which it very well do. I was complaining pretty heavily last night about the footnotes, and they just keep getting worse. Like, they keep getting worse. He mentions like that is dramatic irony probably like literally 6 times now. It's the scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin are on the bridge of Grievous's ship when they're trying to rescue the Chancellor, and it's just like a passage about Obi-Wan using the Force. It's just really nice. The Force flows over him and around him as though he has stepped into a crystal pure waterfall lost in the green coils of a forgotten rainforest. The part of him that calls itself Obi-Wan Kenobi is no more than a ripple, an eddy in the pool into which he endlessly pours. There are other parts of him here as well. There is nothing here that is not a part of him, from the scuff mark on R2-D2's dome to the tattered hem of Palpatine's robe. One thing that I am really not cool with, and the problem continues from male author to male author, is the writing of women. Obviously, Padmé is a huge force in the world. She does get her due lots more in the Clone Wars TV series. In the films, she's really just like the angel stereotype. It starts off by saying that she is an astonishingly accomplished young woman who in her short life has already been the youngest ever elected queen of her planet, a daring partisan guerrilla, and a measured, articulate, and persuasive voice of reason in the Republic Senate. And I'm like, okay, great, fantastic. Her inmost reality, the most fundamental, unbreakable core of her being is something entirely different. She is Anakin Skywalker's wife. It's interesting because as an author, you have so many ways to phrase something. I don't have a complaint with, you know, maybe at the core of someone's being, like they are really truly who they are when they are with the person that they love, when they're with that other person, that's fine. But he maybe just could have written it a little bit better, because putting it in the possessive, titling her as just a wife really just labels her as Anakin's possession rather than as the feeling of what she feels in that relationship, who she becomes in that relationship, what kind of a person she is in that relationship. And it just kind of gets worse because she's pregnant at this point. She is more now than Anakin Skywalker's wife. She is the mother of Anakin Skywalker's unborn child. Also really funny that there is a footnote here so many years later where the author says, I know how this sounds. I know how this sounds, believe me, I do. If you know how it sounds, write something that sounds different. I'm 316 pages through and I'm on part 3, which is Apocalypse. I think all 3 books for that matter, but especially Labyrinth of Evil mostly, and then this one a little bit, really does make you aware at the same time that like these people, these Jedi, Anakin, they've been fighting the Clone Wars for 3 years. And so they are soldiers and they are like psychologically shattered. They've seen so many of their comrades die, they've seen horrific things, and you really see what like you just really see that toll, I think, more in novel form. At least it's talked about more, which I think in the films maybe they just don't show as much because you kind of just, you know, we kind of just skip from Geonosis right to Revenge of the Sith.
The stars have aligned, the Force is on our side. Something has just arrived that I didn't think was going to be here until next month. I got it out of the box. Okay, good evening. You've come finally to the close of the vlog. I just want to say I'm so happy with my lightsaber. This one that I got from Sabers Pro is the Azure, I believe it's called. I can try to leave a link below, but I'm just really happy with it. Before I go play with it more and see what it looks like in the night now, in the dark, which I've been waiting all day to do, I thought I should update you and tell you that, yeah, I did finish Revenge of the Sith. I did think this was going to be a 5-star. Unfortunately, it didn't end up being a 5-star all the way just because of the author's writing style. A lot of it was just like too dramatic, maybe a little too much dramatic irony there. And while it was really emotional and really stirring, I just found a lot of it was a little bit too puffed up. I did really appreciate the Greek tragedy references. I appreciate all the religious references. I think it's fantastic. I will also say that the book does a much better job of watching Anakin's descent, slower descent into the dark side. We get so many more scenes in the book between Anakin and Palpatine than we do in the film, and it just seems like it takes a longer time, more horribleness occurring. And I also really love how in the book it's like Palpatine not only turns him against the Jedi Council and Obi-Wan, but also Padmé. That is like very significant, and I think it's done really, really well. So I loved a lot of this. Not the 5-star I thought it was going to be, but yeah, I cried maybe probably like 3.5 times. All in all, in this Star Wars vlog, we got through 3 books and 4 stars all around. I love these so much. I would probably, I don't know, like they're all so different, right? This one, if you want like a slower, character focused, very political, very behind the scenes, very unseen hand, puppet master vibes, not a lot of action, but still really, really cool. This one, if you want all the action, if you want all the characters, if you want that split POV, Clone Wars episode-esque vibes, if you want like another prequel, if you missed the prequels, you want another prequel. And Revenge of the Sith, if you just want like that Greek tragedy, horrible feeling in your stomach and you want to bawl your eyes out and you never want to be okay again. I want to say a heartfelt, big, fat thank you for being here, for watching this video. Yeah, I talked about how at the beginning I dropped my Star Wars interest many years ago and picked it back up, and I want to say thank you to all the people who encouraged me to post about my interest in the first place, because otherwise I wouldn't be here to begin with, like on YouTube, but to talk about Star Wars and to make a reading vlog about it. So I really appreciate you if you're here, especially if like you don't really have any clue what Star Wars is, if you never watched it, if you never read it, and you're still here watching. Thank you so much. If you are a fellow Star Wars person, talk to me. Talk to me in the comments, please. Tell me everything. Tell me all your loves. Tell me, what do I read next? Where do I go from here? I had such a fun time doing this vlog. I just feel like it was one of the best weeks of the summer for me, this vlog, honestly, like immersing myself, watching something every night, reading something every day, kidding myself out in whatever the hell weird thing I had in my closet, and buying myself a gift that I have wanted since I was like 9 years old. So I'll see you when I see you, but in the meantime, may the Force be with you.